What is going on, everybody? How you doing? Hope you're having a great long weekend that's here ahead of us. If you're off on Monday, I hope you enjoy your Monday off. But I'm glad you're hanging out here with us. You could be anywhere else, but you're here hanging with the IE creators, talking about creating stuff. Be in that creative space, learning how to create, what it takes to create, and how much of a pain it is to create something.
For real.
And as always, I am here with my buddy Steph, Detour Customs. How you doing, sir?
How you doing, fellas? How you doing, everybody? Thanks for joining us.
And when I feel like turning and keep paying the bills at the studio and keeping it on sometimes, here at 796 Studios, I'm gonna let your bill go about 2 more months before.
I appreciate you turning on the lights and the heat and the water. Thank you, Dante.
Hey, you're welcome. Hey,
I was surprised to get an invite back here, but I appreciate it.
You are home, sir. You are home.
I am.
I'm just here to start the beef with Prime again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I already saw him. He's got a lot of making up to do. He got to catch up on that beef.
Hold on, he says drink every time. Dante says create. Well, Bucky's already started.
Dang. Nice.
Look at it. I just actually got this in the mail today. It's an absolute bottle from Amazon.
Dun-dun. Oh,
And
okay, Bucky.
Like 2 little glasses.
Yeah, had a rough day.
Celebrating that new body mode. I see.
He's holding the gun too. That's not good.
Yeah.
Fire it off.
I hope that's not loaded.
Oh man,
The helmet's always loaded. But thanks again for coming hanging out with us, Mario.
Yeah,
we love seeing your studio. Always opening and back opening, creating again in the kitchen. Hooking up with Chef Mario. That's a new YouTube show that's coming out in 2024.
Yo, you know what? Really quick. So I've been building in my kitchen for the past, I don't know, 4 years. Whatever, right? And I always, when you post on IG, you can add the location. I always put my kitchen. And if you ever click on the location, it's just all these food posts and then like a Spider-Man post.
Yeah.
Food post, and like a Dio.
It's food for the soul, baby.
Yeah, man.
Food for the soul.
Like, what? My kitchen? What kind of kitchen is this?
Yeah.
But let's see who's in here with the chat hanging with us today. We got High School Creation says, let's go. What's going on, Michael? How you doing? Greg says, what's this? It's the bendy sword time. What's this? What have you made now? What's this? 796 joins the fun.
What's up, Greg? Prime, baby.
Prime, always talking about times 2 the beef. Well, you know what, Prime? I'm glad to see that your show's back up, the figure booth, because number one, I was about to talk to Nate and see if he wants to do it with me now, and see, because you all were taking too long. I wanted some more figure booth, and glad it's back up. Gray says Dark Joker sets the scene. D Blake has the signs while Detour arms are figs.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way. I want to do more than set the scene. I want to start getting more in depth and creating stuff.
Get in deep, baby.
Yeah,
soon.
I want to start creating my own stuff because I have some ideas for some stuff. Don says, pop in to say hi. I don't know how long I can stay. Lots of prep work today for a party. Got some free foam yesterday. Dio making time. Oh yeah,
damn right. Dio making time.
Yes.
Start calling you Dio Dom real soon.
Exactly. Grace says, free foam. You already have enough dials. Let someone else have some fun. Or is it what the party is for? Dio making party at Dom's. There you go. NYC Figure Fanatic says, Yerp, what's up, fellas?
What's up, Kev?
What's going on? Wingaloo's says, hello.
Wait, what's up? What's up?
Stride says, hello, everyone.
Stride. Take it a stride, baby.
And Prime First says, really, Mario? Next time we'll get you on, Prime. High School Chris says, yo, Dante, what's going on?
Def. Mike, what's up, bro?
Let's see. And then, that's why I got Bucky here for you. He can drink for me.
Yeah.
Don says, I got free 2-inch thick foam. Thinking of what to try to make First thought of some kind of space or temple wall with a door.
Space is in right now, man. A lot of great
Yeah.
space lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. If you haven't gotten to Cosmic Legions, let me tell you, that's my new love. I love those figures. Four Horsemen has now got me for life
Dang.
with those. Yo,
Cosmic.
I tell you, when Legion,
I don't know. I'm still on my medieval flow. I love living in the past. I love Cosmic. Don't get me wrong, but something about winches and swords that just gets me going, man.
I like those two, but these Cosmic Legions like look amazing. I love them.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to you and thank you, Steph, for giving me my Scourge. I appreciate it,
man.
I love that
That's
figure.
an incredible figure. That figure, among ogre scale figures from the Four Horsemen, that one stands apart. And I can't wait to get the blue version in the Poxus wave coming up real soon.
Yeah, I got to put my second wave on pre-order.
Yeah, and I will say Cosmic has definitely more customizing capacity than regular Mythic Legions.
Yeah,
there's so much you can do, so much kit bashing, so many colors that can be had, and accessories to include dios, vehicles, props, sets, the whole nine, man. Even among the new pre-order items, is actually the first time in Legion history they're including a set of space props with the wave. So it's crates, there's a computer, there's some cables. I mean, we've never seen them do anything like that, and it lends itself to the versatility of the Cosmic line. So you guys are in for a treat. Get in on that period. I think there's like a week and a half left. Don't let it pass it by.
Yes, it was about a week left because they said when they sent the email, it was like 2 weeks left.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I gotta get on mine. But I got so much stuff right now. It's just like I went on the Kickstarter for Legendary.
That's the problem, dude. We're running out of room, man.
Yeah. The metaverse stuff is good too, man.
Yeah, I went on that, and I just like, man, I was like, what am I gonna do with that now?
Mm-hmm.
What am I gonna do? Prime First says, nice, well planned. Matthew says, hey, about to head to a BBQ, but I heard about some beef here. There's always some beef somewhere.
Yeah.
Let's see. Matthew says, let him cook.
Yeah.
I always let him cook. I let him cook. I let him be the chef and then you know, when he gets out of hand, I say, like, you remember who pays his bills around here. It says, oh great, here we go, story time. Right.
It wasn't even a long story. Come on.
Oh man, Grace says, Matthew, you better share some barbecue with everyone. That's true. What's going on, Paul Morales? How you doing? We got White Vegeta here, says hello. Primus First says, yeah, those Cosmic Legions look fire. They are. That's why I can't wait to Legion's Con. I cannot wait to Legion's Con.
I better see all of y'all there, man. Mario.
No, I won't be there. However, I'll probably be at NYCC.
Oh,
right,
so
we gotta get some food at least, man.
Yeah.
Kevin's gonna be there too, which is surprising. I'm surprised to let him cross the state border again.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm surprised I got accepted for New York Comic Con. I'm surprised too. Why? They keep denying me. They won't let this man.
That's a real beef right there.
It is. Oh yeah. You know what? I'm tearing down the Butter Nation. The king of it, the general. I'm gonna shut him down. Shut him down. Grace says, Dom, you should see that temple that Brian made and won the Dio contest at ChrisCon. That was an awesome beast.
That was insane.
I didn't see that.
So Brian Almeida, he swept both competitions for the custom figure and the custom Dio.
Really?
It was massive, man. His entire Dio display was just nuts. Check out Brian Almeida, Duarte Studios on Instagram. This guy is unbelievable. His range is just insane, completely insane. His most recent project, he made the that skateboard for the Ninja Turtles from the video game.
Okay.
Really excellent stuff, man. Check him out.
Let's see. Strian says, Cosmic and Mythic Legions are forbidden fruit for me. Come on, Strian. Come on.
Come on, man.
Let's try it.
You know
Take
what
a
happened
little
with forbidden fruit, right? It got eaten, man. Gotta dabble, brother.
Dabble with us.
Yes.
Steph get you on the mythic. I'll get you on the cosmic. You know,
Yeah, man.
you can't lose. You can't lose. What's going on, Johnny? Dom says just went all in last night. Almost forgot. Nice.
Dang.
And Dom says Kevin buttered them palms to get a press pass. He probably did. He probably did butter them palms. Buttered them real good, like that butter bread. High school says take a bite, Stryden.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, you got to. You got to. Real quick, I was talking to Steph earlier. I was like, before I went on vacation, it's like Amazon had a good deal going on. So got me the big old 1 gram of TH72.
Nice.
You got to get this. This is the big boy. Now I'm stuck on the big boys.
Because our Saturn vats are guzzling and stuff, so you got to get 1,000. You got to get 1,000,
Exactly.
man. Easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to try this for the first time. The anti-impact. What's wrong, Mario?
It's not for me.
Really?
Yeah, it's got this like weird one. It takes forever to dial it in, and I don't even think I still dialed mine in. But, damn, actually, Resi One sent me a couple 1K bottles to try out and make a video, and I don't like it, and I'm like, I can't even make a video for this because I can't say anything positive about it. I think it has its uses for certain applications, like maybe joints, but it's got this weird like nylon feel, and cleanup is such a pain in the ass. It's got this horrible smell. It's really potent. It's and like the supports, you have to over support with smaller supports, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
I get what you mean. Yeah.
But then the cleanup is crazy because it leaves these like nylon dimples, you know, like you can't just crack it off. It like stretches out and then peels off. So I don't know, maybe I need to go back and mess with it a little bit more, but I'm sure it has its uses for certain applications, but M58 has become my favorite though.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll show you guys something in a little bit, but
okay. Yeah. And to Mario's point, the anti-impact, it's more for dynamic parts. You'll get the same degree of detail for your mini printing, for just basic things, but it's designed to take impact. So
right.
In order for that to happen, you kind of lose on its static properties. So
yeah, it's not as rigid.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You can karate chop it and do all sorts of things to it, but it's positively strong in one direction, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'll check it out because I really wanted. I like when they show like new resin. I always like to give it a try, give it a go, and see how it is. See if it's somewhere I'm like, okay, I can fit this in somewhere else on something else if I'm maybe printing it.
I also had a lot of failures with it too.
Bro,
really?
Me too, man.
It's a lot of failures in the beginning, and just like Mario said, you have to go crazy on the supports, which I like Lychee for, because Lychee does a great job of taking care of those weird angles that I couldn't get in Cheeto. So,
Dante, are you a Cheeto guy?
He's a Cheeto guy. He loves Cheeto. He lives by it. He refuses.
I tried Lychee and I didn't like it because it gave it's like all over the place. I'm like, okay, with Cheety Box, okay, I can go in, bam, here I can put sports, bam, go ahead, send it over to my to my USB, bam, I can put it in my printer. Lychee, I'm like, okay, what am I? Okay, where can I resize this? Like, what can I? Like, it doesn't give you any kind of direction.
What? Wait, for Lychee, bro? That's how I feel about Cheeto. I can't in Lychee, bro. I can load up like 30 items, hit one button, and then it'll auto orient on my plate. Right?
Yes.
I can't do that with Cheeto. Like, it'll throw things off the plate. I can't.
It says push on the plate. It has a box there for it.
But
It
it
literally
doesn't
has a
put
box.
everything on the plate, dude.
Yes,
How about a
does.
demonstration? How about a demonstration? You guys,
Yeah, Dante, why don't you show us?
I'll screen share. So we'll do Cheeto box first, and then we'll do Lychee, and then we'll gauge the difference here.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
Thank you, Prime. At least Prime's with me on that. Thank you.
Wait, Dante, did you try Lychee Light or Pro?
Yeah, I just downloaded Lychee Slicer.
Okay, the free one. Pro definitely has more options. For like manual stuff, you can really dial it in with the Pro stuff.
Yeah, see,
So here,
like I'm paying for too much stuff as it is already. Bam, right on the plate.
What did I say though? I said if I got like 30 pieces or multiple pieces,
There's an option that says put it on the plate. On the plate.
All right.
So what I don't like about Lychee, I'm sorry, Cheeto.
You're right. Go ahead, say.
Yeah, no. It's solid, but let's say we want to, get our supports going.
Mm-hmm.
On platform.
For this one, I usually go light. Get the platform where I don't like all of this loading stuff. It's so initially when I first printed when I'm first trying to print this out, I had a whole bunch of gaps here, and it failed on the bottom. All right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but oops. Over here by the collar, all of this failed, and the printed flat. And you can modify, the contact shape, and this is the basic version of Cheeto. So when you go pro, it's a bit different. But just for those folks that want to kind of take advantage of the free stuff, you would modify the contact settings of the supports. You modify this, add more, and it does stuff like this. What do I need a support here for? That's weird.
Yeah, Cheeto's got some weird bugs, and I don't like the UI is clunky to me. I don't know, maybe it's just because I Lychee was easier for me to understand. But do you guys do auto supports or you don't do manual?
I do both. So I'll hit auto and then delete the ones that are necessary and add more necessary ones as I go.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, this is the latest version of Cheetah, like 1.95.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had a good Cheeto version since 1.6. Everything after 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, it's been buggy as crazy. The slice times were insane. For instance, like slice times were nuts. Sometimes it would take days to slice some things, and I was like, no way.
See, I've never had that. It's never done that for me.
Yeah,
where I've had
and
that,
I tried
a long slice time.
Tried it on both. Well, it depends on how many you're printing. So I don't have my profiles loaded into Cheeto because I actually had to download this for the show today. But I actually deleted all Cheeto from my system. But if you're doing multiple components, it becomes a nightmare slicing. It takes forever, or you have a crash error or something ends up happening.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I want to quit. But go to our favorite.
See, look at this.
Yeah, this is great right here, man. Let's add some files, baby.
Look, this one makes no sense to me because it has nothing there that it's not simple. It's not easy to me to just go in and do what I need to do.
All right, great. Let's see. They got everything on the left over there, bro.
All right here. This is all you need. So if I want to rotate,
on plate, baby. Auto orient, scale,
all of that.
Yeah, Cheeto's got that. Rotate,
but it's not as easy. I could move it, get it off the plate. I could hook it up like this. And the best part, I'm about to show you what the best part is.
Okay.
Let's say, this is resin. let's say we go to preparation, right? Let's for arguments, let's generate some automatic supports, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
See, look at this. All this clicking around. Like I don't get time for all that. I just want.
Well,
click
you gotta
the
select.
supports and that's it.
You gotta select the model in order for it to work, so you don't get
But
any.
the model should already be selected.
Well, let's say you have multiple, and I'm about to show you right now. So let's say, for instance, and it shows you all of this. This is great. This is awesome. I could add a raft if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is the basic, and you go to layout, and let's say I want 8 copies. I could do auto arrange. Or I could keep the arrangement. Sky's the limit. My auto arrange, and bam, it puts everything on the plate in an
It does the same
orientation
thing to the box for me.
But Cheeto Box does it so linear that you get things that get thrown off the plate. It's
Right.
no fun.
Right. It
Mine
doesn't
don't
put
get
it on
thrown off the plate.
Look at that. Gives
And
you
it puts
perfect
it puts it on-
orientation.
Yeah, and it puts it on a plate where the location is closer to the center of the print, right?
Mhm.
Or the
And let's say, for
gold
instance,
plate.
your orientation is kind of, it's like, I don't think it's going to print well this way. You can modify it while you have supports on, and Lychee will automatically reorient those supports for you.
You got to
which is
hit
clutch.
recalculate.
Yeah, you got to. But it's perfect. I got no issues. It's fast slicing times.
Yeah.
And it's actually more accurate to the actual print time than Cheeto. Cheeto will tell you something will take 5 hours, 7 hours later, you're still waiting for your stuff to finish. So it's
There's
I don't go by time on. I don't go by none of the time on any slicer. I go by when it starts printing.
yeah.
I go by what the printer says. Like I never go by like the slicer. What is it? The slicer can say that.
They always
they're all
underestimate the time, no matter what
they're all
slicer it
lies.
is.
So the
So
only thing I use the slicer for is like how much it may cost. That's about the only thing I'll let it slide on.
the volume, just so I know
Yeah.
if I need to order more resin. So I use, there are some files that for whatever reason I'll get artifacts showing up on Lychee, but if I throw it up on Cheeto, the artifacts are gone, and that's probably the only time where I will use Cheeto. But dude, with Lychee, like I do manual supports, right? But they make it so fast. I can click one, like let's say I'm putting a support on one corner, right? I can hold shift, drag my mouse to the other side of the corner, set my intervals. Like let's say I'm on a space like maybe 2 millimeters in between support, click again while holding shift, and it'll just line it up. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It makes it so much faster. What are you doing, Steph?
Oh shoot.
See all this nonsense here. Greg asks a good question. How long do you think till an AI add-on will be able to analyze and set the optimal support setup? It's funny to say that because we were also talking about that too. If you check out Uncle Jesse, he talks about there is a program where if you do AI generation, you can generate an AI picture and you can upload it into a STL file.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think for supports though, I don't know. It's still not good. No matter if you're using Cheeto or Lychee, in my opinion, like their auto supports.
You have to go manual.
Yeah,
You gotta go manual.
I mean, if you do a combination, like you got to go in and check, right? Like
Yes.
I do the island checker. Sometimes I'll just throw it up and do like an auto support, auto orientation just to see what Lychee will do, just to humor me, right?
Yeah.
And there are like islands that are missing supports. I'm like, nah, dude, this ain't it, right? But then it does a pretty good job in finding islands. But then there are those like phantom islands, you know what I'm talking about? That are like
Yes, I
in the
know,
print. I'm like, what the hell is this?
I find it more in like convex surfaces.
Mhm.
It can't quite figure those negative spaces out yet.
Yeah.
And thankfully most of the stuff that I print more or less can forego those type of supports. But if you print some complex and you have that negative space and can't really account for it on the auto support, you're better off just leaving auto alone and taking the time and hitting it manually.
Yeah. And it's, you know, it's not, it's time consuming. You know, it's
Yeah.
not like rocket science or anything like that. It's easy to do, but it just takes forever, man. You know, and that's why I kind of like, you know, I dread like adding supports and stuff just because it's gonna take forever. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want to
Same
get it
here.
right the first time because those failed prints they get expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Promises a blend of both, but I can't stand the perspective when adding additional supports trying to get different views.
Yeah, that is a pain when you're trying to go in. Like I know in Lychee they have the option to change the visibility, right? But it still has like those lines that go up and down, and you get kind of confused. So I think, you know, if you just start with like the islands and support those really good, then the rest should be fine. You know.
Yeah. Agreed.
Dom says, "Gotta go. Catch the replay later. Happy Labor Day." What's the same to you, Dom?
Later down.
Good one. Mike says, I wonder why slice times were long. Maybe need to update.
Mike
Or
is
maybe
probably
just
running the
switch to-
older version too.
Or he
Yeah,
says,
switch to
or just
Lychee.
switch to Lychee. Like, look,
Yeah.
man, like Mike, like I'm telling you, man, like look, just update Cheesy Box. That's all. Just update that. You'll be good. You'll be good.
And don't run it on if you're gonna run Cheeto, don't run it on Mac. Do not run it on Mac. It's no fun.
You know, I never used it on Mac, which is
Yeah,
funny
don't
because
do it.
I don't have one.
punish
I have a
yourself
Mac
like
Mac. Grace
not
says Dante Chandler and Mark Cosby as he exclaims. No. Lychee makes me want to just like scream, pull my hair out if I had any hair.
It can't be that bad, dude.
Yo,
You're a smart guy.
I am, but yo, like I don't like stuff where it's not like where I can see it and use it. If I was learning Blender, okay, that'd be something different. I'm like, okay, this is underneath this. Lychee is like, this is underneath this, underneath this, underneath this. I'm like, dude, like I just want to just put the model on there, put supports on there, and print. That's all I want to do. That's all I need to do. Everything else has been worked out. I just want you to do what I need you to do.
In your defense, I will say the first time I switched over from Cheeto, I struggled a bit only because the Cheeto interface is a lot friendlier on the eyes. But once you start going with Lychee, you're good to go. You are good to go.
What's going on, Yoko? How you doing? Mike says, cheat never accurate on print times. No, it's never accurate on print times. Like, that's why I never go by it. Cheatbox does the same with the copy and paste. Exactly. Thank you.
Does not as good though. Not as good.
Johnny says, Platinum says, serious question about how expensive is it to print material wise, asking about both big and small projects. That really it depends on like how much time you want to put into it, what kind of printer you want, what you're printing, and the resin's pretty cheap. If you're just going with gray resin, that's what mostly I guess all of us print in, like mostly just gray or white. It's pretty like I would say it was the 1 gram bottle is like what 16-17 bucks for the gray.
Well, it depends on what type of resin.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get like a Soraya Tech, that's 37 bucks, right? No,
yeah, that's why
the Fast Navy Gray. It's
the Fast Navy Gray. That's about
it's not the gray ABS, but if you go to like M58, that's 70 bucks. You know,
yeah,
it's true.
You see it's 70 bucks. You know, but it's much more durable. I don't know, man. At first I thought I'm like, oh, it's not that expensive, but man,
it gets expensive.
Everything has a shelf life. You know, your FEP. Like, I don't know what it is. Like with these new printers, the printer's like, okay, you got to change your FEP. Like after like 10 prints, I'm like, do I really?
Nope, I'm buying a new vat, bro. No. I'm buying a brand
new
vat.
So
exactly.
Here's the thing. I buy new vats, but I also like. So now I have 2 vats, and I was getting like the FEP. Like the vat already comes with the FEP pre-installed.
Right.
You know? So that saves me time because it's like 38 screws on the M3 Premium. And I'm like, God damn, man, I don't want to change it. And then you have to slice it, and maybe it's not, it doesn't have the right tension. But
I'm sorry, you said 38 screws?
Probably more. Probably
Yeah.
more, actually.
Because I was going to say, like, the Saturn 2's got about probably more than that, because you got the bottom ones that you take off, then it's the inside
then
ones you got to take off, and there's
yeah.
another set of ones you got. I'm like, yo, this is ridiculous. Like, why is there like 40 some odd screws, 40 to 50 screws in here?
Forget that, man. So you got a range. So on the small end, if you're just casually printing, you're not printing anything, that you need some sort of functional movement. You just want to print, some minis, some accessories.
Right.
Printer will run you anywhere between $200 to $400 for a nice mid-size. You can get some of the older models for cheap. They're on Amazon all the time.
Oh yeah,
Micro Center has it sometimes, and this is resin I'm talking. So let's say $200 to $400 plus, a couple bottles of resin. You're looking at maybe $400 to $500ish after all is said and done. You can all your material, your cleaning material, which your IPA and your isopropyl and all that good stuff. So
expense.
Yeah, I would say maybe about $500 to have everything you need to get started to post process. On the higher end, you're looking at thousands.
But wash and cure though.
Wash and cure.
No,
man.
don't. So I did buy wash and cure, and I really don't. I don't use it honestly because you know why. So this is the reason why. I found it easier because I can go to the dollar store, pick up like 6 or 7 bottles of the 90% isopropyl alcohol, get that, and just put it into a spray bottle and spray it down myself. That's my wash. And then I bought like a big, it's not like a big one. It's probably like this big, UV light.
UV light.
And just sit in front of that. Yeah. Just sit in front of that and let that do it. Or I can just put it outside and sit out there with it and let the sun do its job.
Yeah, you can do that. Here's my thought process. When it comes to cleaning and the post process, I'm a freaking nut. I have 2 wash and cure stations, right? I have my first one that was kind of like a mid-size, and then I have the bigger one for the M3, right? I feel like that's the most important part of like the resin printing process is cleanup, right? So what I do is this: I'll have the first wash and cure station is like my dirty IPA, right? And it like I spray them down while I get it off the vat. I try and take the supports off if I can before I dump it into my wash station.
Same.
It gets all that stuff out first. So then it's semi-clean, right? But there's still like a thin layer, right? Especially if it's dirty IPA. Then I'll put it in like my clean IPA with a toothbrush and I'm scrubbing it all out. Then I let it either air dry or I'll put it in the dehydrator on like, low heat, maybe like 115 to 120 degrees. Let it just cook and dry there. And then I'll go put it into my UV station. I'm trying to minimize the amount of time this thing is exposed to the elements, right? The air, because I don't want dust sitting on there, right? And I think
it cakes on,
right. And I mean, because I've cured some stuff where there's like this it looks like dust, and you try and scrub it out, and it doesn't get rid of it. And I think because of that crazy process, I'm able to achieve clean, super clean prints like this. And this is 0.05. This isn't even the smallest, but like it's because of that post process,
That's incredible. That's very, very clean. Very clean.
See, I'll let mine's air dry as well. Like I will let it air dry before I let the UV hit it, or sometimes I'll just let the UV hit it while it's air drying. So because I want this, because if I leave the alcohol on there, it's not going to really kick in that dust. It's going to just probably fall off. The thing is like I don't feel like cleaning out my station. Like I don't feel like cleaning out the wash and cure station because like I have the bucket, but now it's like broken now because the fan was jammed up with gunk in there. And that's my fault. That was on me for not doing a proper.
There's a hack for that though. Just buy 2 buckets. You got your clean bucket, you got your dirty bucket.
Yeah,
they're like $20.
But the fan doesn't go back in now because I actually like went and tried to actually clean it out, and now the metal plate over over, like that was under.
It got caked up with
what is
the resin.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's the fan and then that metal grate, and now I can't get the metal grate back on it, but the fan's all caked up anyway. So I was like, whatever, I don't need this anymore. Like I just don't use it.
Yeah.
Now I could probably use the curing part, which I don't have it plugged in. I just don't use it for the curing because I still haven't figured out what time, like how much time to put on stuff like that. But yeah, that looks good. That looks amazing. I love it.
Looks
Like,
great.
Bro, this is like injection molded.
Yes, it looks
Yeah.
perfect, bro. Like
This is a toy. It's not a resin print, you know.
oh my gosh, so damn good. So
It's-
damn.
And
Good.
what are you
Look
gonna
at
use
that.
that for,
Oh my
Mario?
gosh, you can see all the panel work in the back of this, behind the seat, and everything.
But yeah, the
What are you gonna
wrinkles
use it
in the seat. Yeah,
Oh, dude, that's and to your point, with the cleaning. So I do 3 dips in IPA. I got the regular dirty IPA, and then like you said, the scrubbing IPA. But then I have a third one that I let it kind of just sit there, and then I scrub it again, and then I submerge it in water for the cure. I've had better results.
cure
with
in water.
cure in
Yeah.
water.
I haven't tried that.
I noticed, especially with a lot of thin parts, it allows for the separation of any little particles that may come loose. And I don't get that lustrous finish sometimes you get when you cure certain resins.
Yeah,
I like that nice matte, non-reflective finish that you get on some good grays. Some resins like TH72 will always have a luster, but for your standard gray, it should be like a dull matte, almost as if it's like primed with like a really good gray primer.
yeah. I feel like that high precision resins have that more that dusting, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know if
Yes.
it's just the makeup of the polymers in there or whatever, but more of the rigid stuff doesn't. But you're investing all that time. Like, god damn, like this thing, it's like
Look at
what,
that.
3 days to print?
Oof.
You know?
But outstanding nonetheless, man. Oof,
Oh,
so
yeah.
damn good.
And like to have it like get messed up like at the finish line, like that's why I'm like, dude, I'm gonna go nuts with like the cleaning and like taking off the supports and sanding or whatever. Cause like, dude, I don't want to reprint anything, man. I really
One
don't.
shot, one kill. I don't want to
Yeah.
go back and have to clean the vat and get all the stuck parts out. Like, I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah,
No, thank
I
you.
don't ever want to clean my vat, bro. I kind of just leave it there. And if I clean, I'm just gonna hit, just 50 seconds, light everything up, and then just peel that film over there and then pour, that's it.
Do you guys like break up with your printers whenever they have like a failed print? Like it's like we're not going
Yes.
steady anymore. I don't want to ever
Like,
see
yo.
you again.
Yeah.
Yo,
Oh, yeah.
I really be threatening, but like, yo, I just like it's time for a new printer. This is time for a new printer. You're done.
It's devastating,
done.
man.
The worst part is like when I'm like, I print something like comes out really great, and I'm like, all right, now I can produce these and sell them. And the printer's like, you thought you could.
Yeah, dude.
You really thought you could. Now it's time for me to jack everything up. I'm like,
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
the worst is when like I don't know if this has happened to you guys, but I'll like I have a file, like I know it's gonna print, and I know it's not gonna be a failure or anything like that, right? So I'll go do my thing, hit start, and then I'll just chill, right? I come back 6 hours later, enough where you can see like it's because you're always like peeking, you're like, is it printing? Is it printing? Right? And it goes up, 6 hours have passed, nothing is on the plate. And I'm like,
yes, that's the
Empty.
worst.
That's bad.
And then you just like go ahead and stop it. Let me go ahead and raise it up.
yep.
I'll just pour out the resin and I'm just pulling stuff up. I'm just using my little plastic scraper to pull everything up, and I'm pouring that resin right back in. I'm like, nah, we ain't having no of that. Nah, I'm not going through the full cleaning process with you today.
Dude, that's when I'm like, all right, we're taking a break. I'm gonna take a break
you
for
have
like a
to.
week.
Yeah. It's like I don't smoke, but I feel like I need a cigarette sometimes after something like that.
Right. Go on timeout.
It's
Like,
nuts, man.
Always pissing me off. Like, always, I just ask you to do one thing.
And shout out to Mario too, because we're kind of coming up on the winter season, and you put me onto that food warmer.
Oh yeah,
That's
bro.
gonna help me keep my resins warm. And to you guys out there that are going to get into 3D printing and you live in some relatively colder climates, make sure your resin stays warm. Resin love to be warm. When they're too cold, they become viscous and you don't get max print quality. A lot of failures.
This whole area, my resin loves it because it stays warm down here. I be sweating sometimes. There's no AC down here. And I'm like, yo, the resin's probably like, yeah, this guy's got the heat all year round.
Dude,
when it gets cold and I turn that vent heat on, oh man, it's warm down here, and that resin be like,
yeah. Now we could do some.
Ready to go. We'll be printing there. I'm like,
call the boys. Let's go.
Right.
Dude, no, but you know what? You're absolutely right, Steph. Like the heating up the resin, and then I have a space heater too. So when I print in the winter, like that whole section is nice and toasty, right? But even like in the like when it's warmer, right? Like in the past couple months, like I'll throw it in the dehydrator, warm it up for a little bit, right? Just so it's nice and even, and then I'll get some crispy prints. But there have been times where I'm like, I'm lazy, and I'm like, I'm just gonna shake it, pour it, hit print, and it just like maybe like a support fails or something, and it always happens. Like it doesn't come out crispy, so you can't take that shortcut. You gotta warm up that resin.
Gotta warm it up, baby,
for the crispiest prints, bro. Especially
you saying that. Sorry, real quick. Just you saying that because I just printed. I was just telling Steph as well too. I just had a failed print, but everything else, everything else printed out fine. I was printing out Esteban's figure that he did for last month, Zamia, the female figure. So I was printing that out. I'm like, all right, let me see how this is going to go together because I've been really waiting to do this one. And now I got to reprint, I think, one of the legs. I don't remember which leg it is now at this point because I don't remember how I spaced out everything for the pieces. And I was like, yeah, I don't know which leg this is going to be.
Oh, man.
All it takes is one failed section, man.
Yeah.
It does.
We'll throw everything off.
Real quick, hey, we got some comments here too. What's this?
That articulated, bro?
Yeah, dog. Somebody said, God. I think it was Greg that said, print out a pilot, 1/35th scale.
What?
Is this the what's it? Techo
Toys?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's beautiful, bro.
And she will fit into the cockpit. You know.
Now, was that a single print, or did you print each limb separately?
For the pilot. Oh, it's multiple parts, right? So, have you guys heard of resin stacking?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes. So he's got two files. Like he's got the resin stack, which is very interesting because you can load up the plate and print out like 25 figures in one go, right? However, I think it doesn't come out as clean because you have to do like a lot of like cutting for the supports. And the support placement is weird because there are some supports that'll be put on like the pegs for the joint and it won't be as smooth. So what I did was I took the separate files, and this is weird, man. Like it wouldn't print or it wouldn't load on Lychee, but I organized everything in Cheetahbox, right? And I had to no. I had to manually move it down. It wouldn't just freaking align everything for me. If I said put it in the center, put it on plate, it's there, but it's everywhere. And I'm like,
it's everywhere.
My God.
Yeah.
So I'm moving it, right? And then I save it all as one file. So I got the head, I got the arms, the legs, everything in one file. So it's like a sheet. And then I import that to Lychee, and then I print it out, right? So I could fit probably like 5 or 6 figures on my bed and print it out. And then you just snap them off. It's I'll show you. I think I have a picture and I'll send it to you, but it looks like a card of like figure parts. And it's really satisfying to just snap off, build. But it took a lot of dialing in to get this because I don't know I'm sure you guys have printed out like some figures, articulated figures before. Joints are too loose or whatever. No,
the tolerance is never there, man.
It's never
shrinkage.
There. Yeah. This guy, he was actually a Kickstarter for figures. He was going to try and like get these like mass produced, but like for whatever reason, it didn't fund. So he sells the files, but you really have to go in there and like dial in your settings. So I have for this to work, this was at 0.25 layer height, and I overexposed. Every layer was at like 4.5 to 5 seconds per layer.
Damn.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what?
It works.
Better
though.
safe than sorry, man. Yeah,
Mhm.
I've underexposed and regretted it. So
Yep.
even if I'm struggling trying to get this stuff off, I know it's gonna print every single time.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's it's Teco Toys, and it's, man, these things are fun, dude. Print out
That's
a whole
incredible.
army in a weekend.
That's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah.
And my fascination with miniature 1/18th and smaller is starting to rekindle a bit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, space being an issue too. It's like, well, I could fit more of these, right? I can get more of these things in. So
Absolutely.
Actually, I just bought a file. I can show it a little bit after this and show you what that file is, because it's for 1/18th, 1/18 size like figures that you can put them in. It's a vehicle. I just bought. I bought actually 2 vehicle files.
Nice.
So I'll show you after this. Content first says I just started using water resin, water wash resin, but it's expensive. Yeah, I stopped using it because I didn't feel like the prints were like clean enough on it.
Mhm.
So I stopped getting
the
that.
formula. It's a bit different. Also, you know, across the many mixes and formulas, I couldn't find enough reliable water washables to say that I'd make it my mainstay resin.
Right.
So, but I did use it in the beginning when I started printing.
High school says I buy 2 kilograms bottles at a 6 a purchase for the 3 mega 8Ks basic ABS like resins, $50 a bottle. Good
So much
Lord.
math.
Yeah, that's a lot of number. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, am I reading this wrong? I'm lost already. Like,
The
It's actually-
takeaway though is he got 3 mega 8Ks, bro.
yeah,
Right. He
That's
has to buy
crazy.
that much.
It's
yeah,
crazy.
you got so you're buying in bulk. You're like going to like the Costco resin store. Like, I get like, you got the 60, you got the 60 bottles. Okay, I'll take 6 bottles. Yeah, I got the
Everything you got. You know?
Give me that.
Imagine
Price
Costco
says
sold
I use
resin.
mine all the time. Mike says a 30-liter ultra cleaner.
That's the good stuff right there. If you can pull the funds to get a ultrasonic or one of those industrial type cleaners, definitely worth it.
Look, I'm just trying to get the big printer. Like, I'm trying to be like on Mike's level, get that big boy.
Yeah.
Big boy printer first. Let me get that big boy printer. Then I'll worry about the other stuff later. I don't like doing the most. Like, look, it's easier for me because I have everything sitting right there in front of the printer. Like, if the UV light's sitting there, put it on, and I could be sitting here and be like, okay, I think it's time to take it off. Bam, I turn it right off. Look, that's easy.
Imagine Dante sitting outside in the sun watching things cure.
Oh my god, I can see.
I mean, well, it's nice because like in the back of my house, I could just sit on the porch steps and just like, let's let it sit there. And it's like,
Like
all right,
rocking
cool.
back and forth on his
Exactly.
chair. All right now.
Me and my dog Rusty.
Yeah.
Just yelling at the young kids with their wash and cure stations.
Yeah.
Exactly. We didn't do it with wash and cure. We used natural light.
Yeah.
Oh, here come Trevor talking about just sticking in the microwave. That's what I call.
Oh man.
Yeah. Where is my sword actually?
You asked
I
for
don't
it.
even know what's. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. Still makes it.
Still going.
Let's see. High school says Mike says I just take the resin outside in the sun and start molding it with my hands. This is ghost now.
Don't do that.
I'm sitting right behind him, helping him mold it. Like, yes, Mike.
It's 30-degree burns, man. That resin gets hot.
Oh my god, dude.
Matthew says Mario puts the small wash and cure station in the big.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Mike says wash and cure nest egging.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, matches double wash.
Double wide, baby.
Got a double wash.
Brian says Mario does 50 steps. No wonder it takes you 1 year to complete one.
Bro,
Yo, but it's the crispiest print.
Cooking you right now, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, cooking
Brian's always
some
gonna cook more. Yeah, he's like, let me go ahead and fry this man up. Johnny says, thanks for intel, fellas. Looking to buy a printer soon. Some shots require specific assets / dials, and paying customized for everything just ain't feasible. I'm going to show you, some stuff that really kind of help you out with that too. Prime first says, Dante, so you let it get too dirty? Yeah, I did. That's all me. Mike says, super clean print. Johnny says, that looks crispy as AF. Mario, I'll give you $10 for it. Grace says, dude, that's awesome. Grace says, Mario needs to start making Gundams for his figs to pilot. Yeah, Gundam pieces are very hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to sit here and lie to you because I forget the YouTuber's name who I subscribe to that does stuff. I think it's Instagram or YouTube who does that. And the time it looks to take from that, oh man. He's making it's like big pieces too. We're not talking about like tiny Gundam. We're talking about like
big old Gundams,
galactic-sized Gundams.
Yeah,
and bigger. Like, yo, I'm like, just the detail. Like, you got to think about like you're sitting there sculpting each line and putting it in because Gundams are not easy to sculpt because you got the detail in there that you're trying to put in there to make it look as real as possible in the show.
Well, that hard surface modeling is much more involved than just organic sculpting, you know.
Yeah,
like I can't wrap my head around all that stuff, you know. It's so like learning 5 different languages at once.
Yeah.
But believe it or not, Boolean operations actually helped out a lot. You get a lot of mechanized shapes, or actually have ZBrush open right now. If you guys want to see, I can show you some of the stuff that you can possibly.
Yeah, let's see it.
Share my screen real quick.
Mike says 30-second back clean. Chris says, Mario, you made like IG Geeky Toy Love. They print sci-fi ships and props.
Ooh, I gotta check that out.
He says, dude, that pilot. Toy Migo says, hey, yo, what's going on, Toy Migos? Mario's part of them sometimes every Thursday night. Sometimes, that's what I say. Currently, sometimes, you know, he rarely shows up half the time. Grace says, troublemakers are here, Toy Migos. And then they say, braiding his hair while he molds it. What's going on? Toy Chase says, hey, Dante, Steph, and Mario. Jarheads here says, hey, guys. Strine says, 3D print Marvel Legends scale Gundams. Damn. To do that, so let me explain that. To do that, we would be buying what Mike buys in resin.
Bro,
probably more. Because we would actually have to have like a big. I have to have a cabinet full of resin. It's like, all right, time to pour some more resin in. And I would not be safe leaving it at home by itself because I would just be afraid that it's going to run out of resin.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I think there is a 1/12 scale RX-78 that exists out there, and it's as tall as a human. It's huge, man.
Yeah, I can believe it.
So imagine that in like resin. Goddamn.
Toy Chase says got a huge toy haul for Wayne's toy show today. Nice. And then Greg says legend scale Gundam would be tall as you, Don. Yeah. That's not bad. That pulls that up. I'll pull my other one up here.
So, guys, if you guys see my screen, this is ZBrush. From the top, you have your regular menu. You can import alphas. For those of you guys that don't know what alphas are, essentially surface brushes that you can use to manipulate the shape of your brush. For instance, if I'm going to pull up my standard brush, which is what you usually use to sculpt on the surface. If I were to change my alpha, turn my alpha on, these are the stock alpha buttons. I'll show you some of the ones that I've made. And you can see how it dramatically changes how your brush behaves. What is a typical arrow pattern, if you on a low poly item, the brush, you kind of get some different. If you change your stroke, do something like drag rectangle, now it's adding that shape as you drag it. So you can kind of see how things can manipulate. I'm going to turn off Sculptris Pro, increase intensity. So you can get some pretty defined surfaces on your objects, depending on what brushes you use. And there's so many ways to skin the cat in ZBrush. For instance, for a lot of those mechanized details or machine parts, they have brushes for that. So I can add a turbine to something relatively easy. I don't have to sculpt the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you can modify these as you go. So as daunting as it might seem, once you get the program, if you want to kind of get into sculpting and you kind of find yourself at an intermediate or higher level, you jump into ZBrush, and there are certain things that you can prepare to make life a little easier for yourself, brush wise. But Mario, what I was saying with the Boolean, let's say you wanted to kind of cut into this. In other programs, it's a real cut, but it's a little bit different in ZBrush. I have these two shapes. I'm going to call this the smaller rectangle and then the bigger rectangle. They're kind of in the same space right now.
Right.
But what I want to do is move it around, take off my symmetry. So you got these two, but let's say I wanted to use the smaller one to kind of cut into the bigger one. I'd select one and select start, get rid of this, and this one. And so right now, I'm telling my system, I want to cut. Well, let me change the size so you guys can see the difference. Clear mask. I think I got a mask on this. But what you want to do, you go to the live Boolean, and it goes ahead and it deletes what you select as something you want to remove. So you kind of turn it into like a cutter of sorts. It cuts right into the shape, and you can do that with anything. Like, let's do it with some practical parts, so you guys can kind of see. Oops, delete. That was okay. Delete. I'm gonna import something I've been working on. Takes a little while to load. Spin. Running like a million programs, but this is something that I did recently.
That's crazy.
And a lot of the details I did for this, like this was actually a letter X that I used to carve right into the skull. And using the letter X, I mirrored it so I can get the same effect across, and it gave me this. These, I guess, breathing holes with the letter I. It was a letter I. So a lot of geometric shapes, like basic stuff, you can use to kind of cut into the stuff. So let's try appending. Let's do a sphere, right? So I got my sphere. Let's say I wanted to add like a neck peg, right? I wanted to modify the neck peg.
Yeah.
This might have been too small. To line it, let's say it's like a Marvel Legends size peg. I'm gonna elongate it this way, and I wanted to make like a hole this way. And of course, there's easier ways to do this, but just to kind of show you guys what the process is usually like. In my standard brush, so I can modify. So I would select subtract, this little half moon. That just means subtract. Make sure my starting point is my helmet, and you can see that it started making the hole, but just to show you, I can expand it, move it around, and it actually subtracts.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's doing like a live preview before you.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's not cutting anything yet.
Right.
So when I find that I'm satisfied, I like, all right, this is what I want it to look like, just for argument's sake. So I'd go down. I'm still in the same menu. And subtool. So where it says Boolean, where my cursor is, I'm telling my system to make the image here a Boolean mesh. And then it's going to do a whole bunch of calculations up the top left, remeshing in progress. And what that does is it creates a brand new object that looks exactly like that, but it doesn't delete the other two that you made. Now in Blender and MeshMix, I believe that when you actually do the Boolean operations, it modifies the actual mesh that you have out there. That's what I like about ZBrush. It doesn't affect the original parts you have. So you got to make corrections. You've got all your subtools. Subtools are what you call meshes in ZBrush. So it does that. Right. So when I want to add the new one that I made, I'm going to go to append. And it's this new one right here. I'm going to hide the others. And boom, this is the new mesh.
Right. And you still have the room up there.
Exactly. So I still got this one. Just going to move it over so you can see it side by side. Everything's still there. You can see the changes. If you want to modify, you can. But it's one of the features in the software I like a lot. It took a lot to get used to, but once you get the hang of it, it's solid. It's solid. If you got like a 3D scan, you can use the actual 3D scan to scale your parts. And what it does is, and most people don't know this, but once you scale your part in a program and you export it, that's the size it's gonna print at when you bring it into like a Cheeto box or a lychee slicer. So if you get the size right in your program, your sculpting program, you don't got to worry about resizing it in your slicer, and it'll print as is. And that's something that through trial and error I had to learn. So using something that I had reference points of everything. If you have even just a square that is 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch dimension wise, it's a good piece to have in your library to kind of help you envision the things you want to create.
Yeah.
And it definitely helps with printing issues too. So if you know your build plate is X dimensions, you can kind of prepare yourself financially on how you actually want to execute your builds and how you want to, throw your supports on there. I tend to go a little more prudent on the copies that I'm printing at in order to give enough space for good supports and good rafting.
Right.
So I'm not like struggling to get this stuff off the build plate sometimes. Like this one I've struggled with a bit because the peg hole, although the size, the circumference was good, I didn't go deep enough. So I'm actually going to go back and use this cross section actually to see how deep I need to go. So this area right here, I want to see if I can kind of capitalize and a little bit deeper so it fits on the pegs that I needed to. So I wanted to make it cross Legions, cross McFarlane, cross pretty much anything in that bigger scale without having to use too much tack or if any at all. But as it is right now, it fits perfect on Legions, but kind of want to give it some more versatility.
Yeah, that's dope, dude.
But you'll love Mario, man. I'm telling you, man, you're gonna love ZBrush, bro. Try the ZBrush Core first.
No, I have the perpetual license, bro.
What, bro?
I bought it back in January, man.
Oh, dude, you're so ready, man. You're like it's like moist waiting for you, man. I'm telling you,
dude. It's one of those things where it's like, for me, I feel like, bro, it took legit a month just to figure out how to navigate through ZBrush. It was almost as difficult as Cheeto, but it's one of those things that you have to, like, if I'm not doing it every single day for like at least an hour, bro, like I'll forget. And I haven't touched it in a while, so it's going to take a while to get used to it. But
no, you can always go on LinkedIn because I know LinkedIn Learning has courses on ZBrush in there.
Do they really?
Yeah.
No way.
And there's a great YouTube Seba put us onto that pretty much teaches you all the basics, but you got to slow down the video a little bit because you're pausing like crazy, man, just to kind of get the controls.
There's a couple people, and I follow Pixie Logic too. They have those live, but they're kind of just like in their flow and just doing it like they're just rapid fire. I'm like, trying to take notes. I'm like, I didn't follow any of that. But what's that guy? Man, he's like the hard surface modeling god. I follow him, dude, and he's what's his name?
Is
Flupe
it the
or something like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know who you mean. I know who you
Yeah,
mean. Like
he's
I tried to
crazy.
follow it. It's nuts, man. And he just goes like off the dome, like he's spitting hot bars, man. I'm like, damn, that's
Dude.
good. That's good.
Yeah,
But
he did this
it
one
takes some time.
Sentinel for Sideshow. I'm like, holy crap, man, this thing's amazing. And that's ultimately the goal. But he's been doing this for God, man, years, you know.
Yeah.
And it's the
It
only thing
boils
that he's
down
been
to
doing.
the practice, exactly. These
Yeah.
guys, they know this stuff like the back of their hands. But just having a basic understanding of the polys and judging from the amount of detail you need, how big your mesh is going to be, combining things, being able to go in and surgically correct maybe mistakes, or it's a lot, but it becomes really, really fun, especially when you create something like, oh damn,
Yeah,
I did that. That's crazy. That's insane.
Yeah, and then you can print it out.
And then you can print it out
in your
It's
hand.
like, I don't need you, Hasbro.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly, dude. It's
anybody
freedom, you know. And I think I said this. I said this all the time. Like for me, bro, the worst feeling is wanting something that doesn't exist. You know, like I want a cyberpunk line, highly articulated figures, doesn't exist out there, right? Well,
I'll tell you what, man. Gone are the days where I say, damn, I wish this toy company would do. I don't say that anymore. If I want something done, I'm booting up ZBrush. I'm like, all right, what's the best way I can get this done?
Right.
And then I take a crack at it. So I mean, nothing against the toy lines, and they give us a lot of gems, but our imagination has far exceeded the toy manufacturing industry.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Station Forge? Nice. I followed them on
so I actually bought this. Yeah.
But this is a mini scale.
So this looks nice. I know, but I want to see if I can upscale it.
Yeah, I mean, you can. You
should.
I'm sure I can. It's going to take some time, but I'm sure I can. I can upscale it. But this looks cool. Like, I like this. This looks like super. Like,
dude, that's amazing. There's so many talented people on Patreon. I wish I could subscribe to all of them, but it's crazy.
Oh no, this is not Patreon. This is
no, he's on Patreon.
CG Trader.
CG Trader, yeah.
Okay.
This guy's on Patreon too. Like I think for $10 a month, you get like a plethora of stuff every month. You know, so.
Yeah.
And
I've been meaning to jump in some Patreons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff is worth it, man. Like I subscribe to Artisan Guild, right, and Darkfire Designs. I don't have one of their prints right now, but it's Star Wars, right? And so every month it's like an army and a vehicle. So I have the ships, dude. I have a like a gunship, Republic gunship. It's probably like this big. Prints in like 4 or 5 pieces, right?
Dang.
And it's $10 a month and you get all this stuff, you know.
That's insane. That's insane. I love the bargains too, man.
Yeah.
Gives you something to look forward to and build.
Yeah.
I love this, man. This is nice.
Was that printed on FDM?
No, this is like resin.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Although I
like how it's like 2 different scales of. Yeah, but it says you can say scale model either 1/10, 1/12, 1/18, 1/24,
that's insane.
1/28, 1/36. Yeah, it goes right up. So this, I was like, yo, this is like good. Like this is your Deadpool taco truck if you're looking for that.
Yeah,
this is what you've been wanting.
We're in the age of vehicles too, man. I think we've had an itch that's been scratched. Getting a lot of good vehicles lately.
Yeah.
I wonder how thick those walls are, because with resin, at least.
I was just showing this for because Johnny, I know what Johnny was asking us. So like this is like, right.
Yeah, warping is still.
I was just showing this for Johnny because I know he was asking about stuff like this is like where you can these are some cheap models that you can get that can just go ahead and print out.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like this,
CG Trader's
I had to
good.
get
My
this.
Mini
This
Factory is
looks
good.
Awesome.
Colts 3D is also really good
Yeah.
too. There's some
Yeah.
Jet Colts 3D.
I've been thinking about putting some stuff up on CG Trader. I got like a
There
bunch
is.
of like,
Bro, you should.
yeah,
Some passive income.
Oh yeah,
yeah, a little something,
you
something.
should.
Yeah, I think I'll throw some stuff up, some weapons. I got some cosmic stuff I'm doing too. I
Nice.
think I'll throw that up.
Ooh.
Some honeycomb shields and some call them the Star Sabers. You know, just I didn't want to call them lightsabers because I don't want.
Yeah, you don't want to get hit with that.
Yeah. Cease and desist.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going. They got enough on their plate already. Like you don't need to be the extra piece on the plate.
Rosario
What the
Dawson
heck?
pulls up to
You're
my door,
taking
her
our Star
lightsaber
Sabers.
just takes me
Nah,
out.
nah.
So do you guys like how many finished prints do you have in terms of like painting and stuff? Dante, do you paint a lot?
I'm sorry. What was the question again?
Do you have like? He's like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
Painted pieces. Are you painting a lot of these prints then, or are you just printing there? Kind of sitting there?
Yeah, I wish I could paint. Look, I got stuff from like Henrock. I'll show you that. There's stuff from Henrock I got. I have not even painted yet. Like this Captain America sculpt. Like it looks great. I have painted it.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I'm in the same boat. I have a bunch of prints. Maybe like 1% of them are painted.
Oof.
Yeah.
You know.
But you know what
they look cool.
This
They
what you
look
do.
cool just in their print form, in the resin, just raw resin. It
They
looks
do.
cool.
But this is the thing. Mike has taught us, gave us a little trade secret. You gotta put a little salt on it. And then you're good. Yeah, put a little salt
Just
on
throw salt on it, hit it with the airbrush.
That was a dope video Mike did. I was dying. Man.
It was. Hit it with a sandblaster. That's what you gotta do. Sandblast it.
You know how you get like a drawing and it's in its sketch phase, and sometimes when it gets cut, it's like, oh man, I miss it when it was a sketch. That's how I feel about like 3D prints sometimes. It's like,
yeah,
it's raw form when the details really are popping the most.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. If sometimes it just looks worse painted, and that's because it's a crappy paint job. But yeah, there's just something about the raw element that I love. It's like when you first see that the prototype figure that's coming out. You're like, dang, that looks dope, and then your imagination kind of fills in those blanks.
Exactly.
But like when it's painted, like I don't know, it loses its appeal. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
it's in its finished state.
What it is.
Yeah. I think I'm just finding excuses as to why they haven't painted.
Not to paint.
Now, like this sword, this sword, I'm sure it would look great painted up. But I just like it like this because I like messing with Damien as well with it too. But this sword looks great, like the detailing, like just in the hilt itself. Like when I look at him, like man, it just looks freaking fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, like this was liquid earlier,
right?
Now
it was in a bottle somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like we're farming, but with resin.
Exactly.
But yeah, I usually just prime things and I'm maybe like hit with a dry brush to kind of I don't go too crazy with the painting.
Yeah.
Get the dry brush going.
Or the zenithal, that looks dope. But like if you just prime it and then zenithal, it's like a black and white movie,
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like the Mirage Turtles.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, man, so damn good.
We have a question from Nick Steele. It says, "Hope you all having a dope Sunday." 796. 2 questions. 1, when are you gonna make your own action figure line? 2, when are we gonna get that dance battle between you and Dante on put on the cart? Look.
All right. So the dance battle, I can answer that. That's gonna happen at NYCC.
Oh, we can do that.
We're gonna be stepping on each other's toes, literally.
After I beat you, after join you and Kevin's team in some basketball to help y'all win,
bro. We're old men now. We don't play basketball. Yeah. We slap each other with tortillas, and that's about it.
Is that it now? You just don't. So you just gave up on basketball, really? Okay.
But
I would have came in with the short shorts.
Booty shorts.
Hey man, I was It was a nice draft. But dude, for the action figure line, like, so we've seen our friends in the community just be successful with like Kickstarter, like Mike, Unparalleled, and it's a reality to have your own figure line. And man, you guys know I've been thinking about it for a while, but there are some things that I need to do before that happens. But yeah, man, I think eventually it's gonna happen. I think eventually, we will. Rude boy. This won't be it though. I don't own this design at all. And I don't know if you guys saw the Poncheesy super articulated episode. Like this print, the Rude Boy, which has now become a 796 mascot, was just a test print. It was something that I found on CG Trader, a 1-to-1 cosplay helmet, and I test printed it, and it just blew up into this whole thing, and it just sucks, But I think making a version loosely based off of this character and design will be my action figure line, and I don't know when it's going to happen, but it will happen for sure.
I actually have an idea for like a line we could all do.
Yeah. All right, we'll talk about it.
Oh, yeah, I can't say. And Mario, I've told you some of the stuff that I've have been contemplating too. So it's like you said, that will become a reality, man.
And the thing is, like that's the key word. Like this thing, it can be a reality. Like we have the means,
the technology,
literally right here at our fingertips.
Right. We got the technology. We ain't got the money yet, so you gotta help us get the.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part. We need the money.
Yeah. You need money. Yeah, you need money and send it over. I mean, we can always talk to Esteban and get it down in Colombia cheaper. See, because that's where he's going to produce his action figure lines down in Colombia. Start giving those factories like a chance.
Well,
the figures down there.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there are ways to get it funded, right? I feel like, man, there's so many like platforms now where through crowdfunding or investors, man. Like, dude, people. There's no shortage of people wanting to help, do something, as long as they get a cut of that pie, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or you're putting out something so phenomenal that no one can deny it, and they'll support it regardless, So
exactly, yeah,
exactly, yeah, definitely. Let's see. Star Marvel 76 says, "Shout out to the 3D sculptor and printers that also paint because I can never do that. What up, boys?
What's up, Star? It's my boy.
Yeah, I can't paint either. I could just print it out for you, but I can't paint."
So I was showing Steph this earlier. So in the beginning of the year, like it's primarily this whole year has just been about printing and painting. Like I want to get like, have you seen those miniature painters? Sergio Calvo is like my hero. His style of painting is crazy. It's like it's art in 3D form. You know what I mean? It's like a painting that jumped out. So I've been practicing, and it's all about like the volumetric style painting. So this is my progress report. I haven't posted it, but like look at the highlights on like the armor and the jacket and everything, dude. This is all with this tiny paintbrush. This is all done by hand.
Mm-hmm. That's incredible, bro. I mean, look at the shading. You can see all the creases in the sculpted soft goods and oh my gosh, look at that cake.
Exactly, bro. But like, it's hard to go back to painting something flat like this, like look at his head. It's so boring and flat now,
No, I think if you add like some like black wash and highlights in it, I think it would come out better. Like it looks to you, it looks flat. It looks good for us. But I think if you just put like some highlights, like some black line highlights in there, and a little bit of wash on there. Yeah, so it'll look like the miniature.
Yeah, I'm trying to move away from washes. I feel like the wash has always been a crutch for me. Like even with like the dioramas, like I'll go back and I'll evaluate like my old dioramas. Like I would, everyone did it. Like let's say you're making like a sidewalk, right, or just a wall. You thin out some black paint with water, and then you just slap it on there and let it go into the crevices and everything like that. And you might get lucky. It might look realistic. But now in my eyes, like it doesn't. So I want to be a little more intentional with my so-called washes, like strategically placing them in certain areas. Like the first version that I did of this, I just slapped on the wash like right on top of the helmet, and it looked, I guess, okay, but it wasn't realistic. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like it's not going to sit like that. It's not going to build up like at a high spot up here. You know, like it just wouldn't be like that. You
Right,
know.
right.
Well,
So
also what you could do, I'm sorry, real
Mhm.
quick. What you could do is like use like, and a lot of people, and I've done this myself, use the Gundam pins to kind of like get those, like get into
Kind
a
of lines.
small pit.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
and you get that like get a red Gundam pin, and like kind of start kind of put seeping it through, and that'll give you a little bit more depth into it as well too.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of techniques that I've learned, but the biggest one is again, it's the volumetric stuff where essentially you're starting with like a dark color and you keep on adding lighter tones to that base
Yes.
color, right? And that adds it gives the illusion of depth, right?
It
So
does.
I'm gonna try and like incorporate that with like this latest Dio build. Like I'm gonna straight up paint that with like an airbrush and try and do like the volumetric highlights with the airbrush. So I'm excited for that. But you know, it just like because I thought, bro, I thought I was wasting my entire time. Like this whole year, I'm like, this whole year's been a waste because I've been practicing just this miniature painting, and it only applies to this. But that's not the case. I think I can apply it
Those techniques count, man.
to the diorama. Yeah. So
They
I'm
count.
excited for that because, man, before I used to kind of like hate painting dios because that's the point where it makes or break. But I'm looking forward to it now.
There's a mini painter on Instagram. If you guys check him out, Angel Heraldez.
Oh, dude, he's also
Oh,
one of the best. His YouTube
he's
channel
insane.
is great too. Oh,
It's
man.
nuts. I forgot what he was painting, but he put down a layer of purple. Then he slathered some orange and then green. I'm like, what is going on? But then as he kept going, I'm like, wow,
Yes.
wow. Look at the shading. His not just the consistency of the strokes, but also understanding where his light is coming from
Exactly. Yeah.
on the miniature and how that transforms what the base color would have been like. I would have never thought to add such a warm color to something so cool, and then you achieve this brand new aesthetic. Like it's just nuts the way he does. And I'm talking about these
They're
miniatures,
small too. Yeah.
tiny,
Like
tiny.
that's I'm like, why is you know why do they paint in this style? And I found out it's because it's so small. Like light doesn't hit that object the same way, right? So they have to exaggerate those details because it's so small. Like I would love to see a figure painted in that style, but I don't know if it would work because the figure is a much bigger scale. But it'd be cool as hell to see that. Like, can you imagine like a Cosmic Legion painted by Angel?
That'd
That
be
would be
nuts.
nuts.
That'd
Yeah,
be
dude.
crazy.
In fact,
Crazy.
Now,
I do have a Cosmic Rude Boy that I'm working on right now. It's, I got one of the what I forgot, was it the Sentry or one of the Science Officer? I'm using that as the buck as the base.
Let me know if you need some weapons for it, bro. I'll send it over to you. I'll send the file over for you.
Oh, I absolutely do.
and another person to look out to is for Juan Talib. Like his painting on like head sculpts is ridiculously awesome.
Another talented Filipino artist.
Man, like when he
so talented.
When I got that T'Challa head sculpt,
Crazy.
I was blown away. Like how much detail. Like he was like, it looked like a real person.
Yeah.
Just the blending and the coloring, like the way it was just like shadowed in certain parts. It was like,
yeah, and like, oh my god, I'm sure he like when you have that head sculpt in hand, you can see like there's various tones in here.
yes.
Like when I first started painting, it's like, all right, let me go to the store, pick up medium skin tone, and just throw that on. It doesn't. Yeah, you're like, oh, that's it. But then if you look at like like Uncle Sam, and if you get real close to like some of the sculpts that he paints, you could see there's purples, there's reds, blues, yellows on within that skin tone.
It's alive.
And it's nuts, and it makes sense because like underneath this skin you have muscle, blood vessels, all kinds of stuff, and that is essentially the undercoat of the base tone, right?
Exactly.
So there's a certain way of like reframing your thought process when it comes to painting now. Like what's the material made out of? Like what are the tones in this material? Even if something is like simple as like concrete, bro, there's probably like 5 to 10 different tones in concrete, right?
Alone.
Yeah. So I mean, it's man, you can learn so much from just those miniature painters out there, man.
And never rush it either. That's one thing about
Yeah.
painting. I'm so eager to get things colored and finished. I'm like, you can't rush it because if you rush it, you're gonna glob on some stuff. You're gonna ruin the sculpt. You're gonna hide the details. Take your time, nice thin layers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think
Finesse.
that's one of the things I resolved to do in 2024 is to do sculpting and be a painter. Because I honestly I hate it. I hate painting just because I don't like mixing colors. I don't like trying to figure out what colors makes this color. I I hated it in college. And yes, I did go to college for like a hot minute, but I hated it.
Bob Ross is trying right now, man. Bob Ross is
Look.
No, I feel you,
I
Dante.
actually felt the class. I felt the class. I'm not gonna lie because I hated painting.
Color theory is hard. It is tough to figure out. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was something as simple as like, oh, just keep on adding white for your highlights. No, then it desaturates the tone. You got to add like a yellow or like a flesh tone to keep that saturation. Like it's tough. And then, I mean, I'm sure you've painted something. You're like, man, these colors do not match. You know?
Yeah. Not to mention it's subjective. You know, I see blues completely different from you. No, the lighting I'm using in my painting room is going to be completely different from yours. So we might have two completely different perspectives, and it's not the same for everybody. Different varying degrees of visual acuity. That all of this affects it. So when you look at videos on Instagram, I think that's or anywhere online, I think that's the best way to see things on a common light, common ground.
Right.
So you see all these miniature painters and how they have this great understanding of blending and really fine tuning the different degrees of color. It's just insane.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, guys. So I very much enjoyed like knowing that I could dabble in like, let's just say photography, making dios and like painting, right? To like a certain, not the best, but like I could do it, right? But I feel like now I want to be really great at just one thing, right? Whether it's sculpting or painting, right? Or building dios or taking photos, just one thing, because then if I just focus on one thing, I know I'll crush it, right? Focus all that energy and just crush that one thing. What would you guys choose? Would it be sculpting, painting? I think I know for you, Steph, what it would be. But if you could only choose one skill set to max out, what would it be?
Got to be sculpting for me, man. Got to be. Sculpting, you could leave something completely grayed out. Some of the best sculptures in the world are still in their original medium, gray, stone, but sculpting for me, man, 100%. I can forego color.
Yeah, and you can find a painter paint it for you.
Yeah, exactly. Tons of good ones out there.
Yeah, definitely. I have to agree with stuff like sculpting at this point, because as much as I would love to learn how to paint and get better at painting, with sculpting, I can take from what's up here and put it onto the screen and then print it out. To me, that's more of what I would love to do, is just taking my idea and making it real, like a realization, like making it and putting it in people's hands. Now, you want somebody to paint it? Hey, there you go. I ain't the guy for it, but I can make it for you. When I'm thinking, like, okay, I can put this together. Like, hey, I got something I need you to make. All right, cool. Blah 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 blah. I'm done. Here you go. That's it. Like, I'd rather have the sculpting. As much as I would love the photography can be a little bit easier than painting, because with painting there's more depth to it. Like I said, you still gotta learn how to mix those colors, make the colors that you want to get that, put that depth, give it that realism, like make it real and give it that realism to it. And like you said, like blackwash, it's not going to make it all great. It's just trying to make that color pop and look like it's this color. It looks like this could be real. This could be it.
Yeah.
How about you, Mario?
I think it is sculpting too, and which is why I made those purchases in the beginning of the year. I made that decision. I'm like, dude, I'm only going to focus on one thing, and the sculpting is because that is complete freedom from anything. Like you said earlier, you don't have to rely on Hasbro. Like, oh, I want this, and then you'll make it, right? It's hard though to put everything away. It's hard to put all like the paint stuff to the side or the diodes to the side, or even like collecting toys, right? And focus on that one thing, especially when you get defeated early on, right?
Right.
But yeah, I would choose sculpting because you could, even if you just do a black prime and a zenithal highlight, like that'll still showcase your work, right?
Yeah.
So
I think that is a good way, but I mean, you can still be a jack of all trades too. There's still a way you can still like be sculptor, but still like, hey, I'm still a decent painter. Hey, I'm still a decent toy photographer. I think you can still reach that level of being that jack of all trades, where because sometimes you'll need that. You're like, man, I don't know how. Like, if I'm trying to explain to a painter like what the colors I really want this to be, they might not get the same idea that I'm trying to convey to them. Yeah. So being that painter, you're like, okay, I know what colors I want this to be. I know how I want to like feel like what color I want to be in a certain area. Like if I want the arms to be a certain color, then the whole chest piece to be a certain color and legs. Like you can do that on your own, and as your own person, you'd be like, all right, I got the skills to do that. I can put this
full
into
control.
practice. Yeah,
consistency too. You you look at Mario's stuff. You can see that from beginning to end, everything you're composed in your shots, the figure, the dial, the lighting, from wire to wire, it has 796 written all over it, and it has that same aesthetic. It's not mismatched. Not to say that mismatch is bad, but there's something about consistency that has a certain majesty. So all of your stuff looks damn near cinematic, like it's ready for Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? So you have that as an advantage as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess the real question is, would you rather be okay in multiple things or great in one thing?
I think if I had the choice, I'd actually prefer to be great in one thing. I'm the guy that's gonna max out the attack stat for my character.
Yeah, exactly.
One shot bosses.
So me and my girls will play Castle Crashers. Have you ever heard that game?
Yeah.
And then you can max out stats, bro. I have one stat just maxed out,
man.
And they're like they're splitting the pie 4 ways and stuff. Everything is just slowly going up. Like, nah, I got my speed maxed out.
Max out, man. Because you'll come across challenges, but you have an entire community kind of back you up on everything else. So if you have one stat maxed out, you can tag your buddy to help you out with the rest.
Exactly. All right, folks. That's gonna wrap it up for us. Another great Sunday, the first of the month. Thank you, Mario, for coming on here, giving us your words of wisdom, and letting us in the stand studio. Coming in with your hat and your plumber suit.
Yeah,
I appreciate you unclogging the toilet in the studio for us.
Hey, you said you weren't gonna bring that up.
Yeah.
Look, sir, I keep the lights on in the studio and keep the water running. You just gotta make sure the toilet's not clogged up.
That's it.
Hey, no promises, baby.
You're the only one in that studio, so I don't understand how it gets clogged up that badly. So, but no, Mario, thank you for everything right here, giving the knowledge that you have and showing off the cool stuff that you have.
Super clean prints.
The best, baby.
Look at that.
Flying around with his toys. Where does he
get
those wonderful toys? I don't know.
Where does he get those toys?
Oh, Brian said talking nothing but bull. Dang, cold-blooded. Strian says thanks for the stream, fellas. Thank you, Strian. And sorry, is that 2 coffee cups? I said 2. Yes, 2 coffee cups. I love me some coffee. Love me some coffee. And Trevor, you're still here. We gotta get our coffee either at NYC or Legion's Con, 1 and 2. Mario, for the fine folks, where can they find you if they're not familiar with your wild and crazy dreams that you be building up in the kitchen?
You can follow me at 796 Studios on Instagram, baby. You can always catch me on the first Tuesday of the week on Chat Migos Assemble. And then you catch me on the first Thursday of the month on Toying Around channel, Unboxing Thursday, Enablers Edition.
Oh,
Peace.
Wow. Okay. Thank you, Steph, for being here with us. I didn't know this is a whole 796 show, but since he just ended it out like that, he's like, peace.
It is. That's my outro, baby. That's my outro. I dumbed down the outro. I chilled it out a little bit for you, Dante.
So what you're saying, you don't need me anymore. Fine. Okay, you know what? Say, you know what? That's fine. I'm sure people are tired of me anyway. Steph, thank you for being here. And D, hope everything's going great with you.
We miss you, D. We miss you.
Yes.
Treat yourself.
Yes, I need
Praise in the chat.
There you go. All right. Have a great Sunday. Have a great Labor Day if you're off on Monday. Until then, we will see you next. Oh, shoot. I don't know.
TBD?
Yeah, TBD. Because October and November is woof.
Crazy. New York City Comic Con, Legion's Con. We got RetroCon next week. Oof.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great fall for toy collectors. Great fall.
Mm-hmm.
Man. And then who knows what the Haslab's going to be. It's going to break me.
Oh. Will we see it at NYCC?
I'll say that they probably will because Toy Fair is the end of this month too, in New York.
I'll see you boys at NYCC then.
I will see you first.
Oh, definitely, yeah, definitely unboxing. Yes, I had to find out what my Activision ID is because I just hate that this can't go by your gamer tag. Definitely, I'll hit you up. Thank you, Andrew. I'm not needed. I'm just here. Ooh, Greg, maybe we'll see. There's some things afoot with that.
Oh yeah.
Afoot. Might be some other folks with us too. We might be joining some other folks, I should say.
Good.
Yes, so some good fun. Excellent. All right, folks. I got over 9 days in the DMZ loop, and I just finished my battle pass, but we'll get into that later. Take care. Hope you all have fun. Hopefully, I have some videos out this week. I want to try to make some videos. I've just been like, it's hard for me to make stuff like other content besides just doing live and just be like, okay, it's hard. I'm not 796 Studios. I don't have a full production behind me.
I don't either.
He has a full camera. He has a cameraman. Kevin Lowe and Tim got him his own cameraman. Got him his own sound studio engineer and everything. He's like, all right, Mario, we're going to turn this up, turn that down, and bring this up. Okay, do that.
We're just chilling, though, in the kitchen, not doing anything. We're just eating.
Him and his engineers and his cameraman in his sound studio.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks, have a good one. Stay safe.